We have to pivot back to somebody who's got absolute Ambien in both hands. Okay, we can put you right to sleep. Advil PM, Tylenol PM, Ambien, whatever it is. Just an absolute monster of a man. But also, maybe one of the most fascinating lives that the world has ever seen. Not just the sports world, the entire world. The UFC heavyweight champion of the world, ladies and gentlemen, Francis Ngannou. How are you, man?
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
How are you, boss? How's life as the champ? How's life as the champ?
Life is great. Life is great. You know, life has always been. I mean, lately, life has been awesome, nice with me. Since I find a good angle to look at life. You know, good perspective to view life. Switch until I get to the angle that I see. I have the nice view, and then I stick there. Then you see that life is good.
Okay, yeah, I would assume life is good. Francis, I want to talk about how we have this graphic. So we did some research on you. Your life, basically, is one that they'll make movies about. Your life will be movie. It'll be a documentary. There'll be books. It'll be everything. Heavyweight champion of the world who had to overcome a lot of things. Are all these things that we find on the internet accurate? Born in 1986, forced to work in a sand quarry at the age of 10. Is that real? And what is that?
Oh, it's definitely true. And yes, as you said, the only thing that I have always think about it primarily was the book. Obviously, the documentary is being working on, but the only thing that I have been thinking of, like for years and years, even before I discovered MMA, was a book, and I had a title of a book named Born Slave, Become King.
Oh.
And I think this is absolutely the right moment to claim that title of the king, you know? So, yeah, as far as for the book, I'm sure and certain of what it's going to be like. The writer might have some proposal for the title, but as long as he stick around Born Slave and Become King. I always love that title.
Hey, that's an unbelievable title. It tells the story of your life from Cameroon, and then you got rejected from Europe like 12 times, and there was a chance that you could obviously fall into, gangs and things like that. And then you get arrested in Spain whenever you do that. You become homeless in Paris. Then you sign to the UFC, and here you are 6 years later, heavyweight king of the fucking world. Let's go, dude.
That's amazing. That's unreal. I mean, I think from my perspective, I don't really realize as for now what is truly going on, but I just think I'm just trying to connect from my past to what is going on right now, and that's how I'm kind of able to get into this thing and understand exactly how it's working, and he just seems like somebody like some story. I don't feel like it's my life, because it's crazy. I still can't believe it, how the difference from let's say just 10 years has been, how big that has been, from my small place in Bati 10 years ago, in Cameroon, doing all these little jobs to survive, and 10 years later, man.
Well, I think
the heavyweight champion of the world.
Francis, I think the amazing thing, and it's right behind you, literally, you have the Arc de Triomphe and the Eiffel Tower sitting right next to the heavyweight championship, I believe. And if the story's true, there's a chance when you were homeless, you probably slept.
And this is like a Washington, or the monument of Washington.
Oh.
It's a gift for a friend, There's a White House, World War II, all those stuff. They are in here.
Jeez.
The Lincoln Memorial, and yeah, it's the entire wall right here.
Yeah, well, that's what your story. That's what your story encapsulates, by the way, and it's captivated everybody at this point. Whatever you had
I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen of a world I'm a global citizen. You know, I'm a citizen of Europe by France. I'm a citizen of Cameroon by born and raised, and I'm a citizen today of the United States of America by making him my new home with my new family here.
Well, we're all lucky to have you. Yeah. We are all lucky for you to claim home in our place, because you are a fantastic. Let's get to the fight that you just had and one that's potentially coming up. After the fight with Stipe, there was a interaction between you two with the microphones that was caught, and it was basically you said to him like, you brought out the best in me. You bring out the best in me, and you guys like dapped each other up and you hugged. What was it like getting prepared for the championship fight against Stipe? And then as soon as that thing's over, what are your immediate thoughts that are potentially rushing through your head?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I said to him. And I told him like it was an honor to share the octagon with him. I think he's by far the fighter who brings out the best of myself, because like if you see most of the improvement in my game, in my fighting IQ and my techniques and everything, I'm going to tell you something which is true. Stipe brought that out of me. Stipe brought me to a motivation. Like in the past 3 years, he was like my nightmare. At the same time, he stood as my motivation, because my goal was to get better and to fix what he exposed about me. You know, what he make me mistakes that I understood, what he heard me to understand about myself, to fix it. And I think that's just how fighter we all grow together, and somebody help somebody to impact somebody. Like, and I will always say this, you know, the first time I fought Stipe, obviously I lost the fight. It didn't go my way. But listen, the reality is, like, in the bottom of my heart, like right away, I knew that was probably what I needed at that moment. Not what I wanted, but what I needed in order to get better, to improve. Because before that fight, I wasn't mature enough to handle this level of competition. And I had a lot of doubts on my mind, in my game. And I was by myself concerned about a lot of things, asking myself, okay, what happened when this happened? What happened in this situation? Obviously, I've been here knocking people out and get here so fast, but what experience do I truly have about this game? It's honestly none, you know, not as much. So I was having all those thoughts, all those questions, and just after that fight, I realized that this is the first time that I really, and the best experience that I could have expected to have out of some fight, and to know exactly where is my limit, what is the whole of my game and everything. So from that night, from that fight on, I became a different fighter, and I knew that if he wasn't of that fight, if I have won that fight, later on, he would have catch me. He would have caught me, because I would have made the same mistake that I did in that fight. Since I learned the lesson, and he would have caught me even in the worst position, even when I would have been higher. So I think it was a perfect time just to stop me before I get very high. So I fall just before get in another level. So I have this experience, you know, like when you get in the mountain, how to stay there, how to deal with the wind coming from all over, with the speed, the power, and everything. I had this experience. I went back, I resettled, I worked on my base and all these things. And obviously, I came back better as a fighter.
Well, that's a great answer, by the way. And I think your experiences are what lead to your maturity, not only in life, but also in whatever sport you have. So whenever you go through that experience with Stipe before, the fact that you utilize it as motivation instead of, potentially starting to doubt yourself is basically the story of your life. I think everybody that was around you at the time would probably be like, okay, yeah, he lost, but we are going to conquer this whole thing. When did you get introduced to fighting? Because Africa has 3 champions now. Is it something that's going to continue to blossom in Cameroon? And is that a big thing down there, fighting? And did you play soccer growing up? What did you do? How did you get introduced to the fight game? Because it feels like you were created for it at this point. Yeah. You're unbelievable at it.
I love the sport since the first day that I can remember of my life. I always loved fighting. I always love everything about like combat sport, about action, movies. That was my best thing. I remember seeing what was that? Bloodsport.
Yeah, Bloodsport. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Van Damme.
Bloodsport, and we were like just a kid. Then after that, I went to the because we were living in the village. Then I went to the farm and then start kick banana trees and then broke them up. And then after I get punished of breaking them up because I'm like, okay, you're spoiling food because this has to produce food and you're spoiling them and we're gonna starve here, And then I started put like sand in the back and hang it up and then box it, kick it, just excited about it. Everything that was connected about like fighting and power was the most exciting for me. Obviously, in Cameroon, fighting wasn't the most popular sport, but it was soccer. But soccer, I played as everyone plays soccer. I never dreamed of becoming a soccer player, even though he was the most famous one. I had a passion of something who was the fighting. But at the meantime, I was always about my reputation, not to have a bad reputation as my dad. So that kind of hold me back a little bit from being aggressive or from putting myself in fighting or around. So until I was 13, when I was at school with all this frustration for always being pulled back at school, always being humiliated from not having pen or notebook or clothes, shoes or school fee. I always been ashamed of that, and by the age of 13, I remember exactly that moment. I was so upset about my life. Then I was like, okay, all these kids that look at me like I'm nothing, like I haven't done nothing. I'm so bad. Technically, I'm even better than them because the minimum that I have, I earned them. I work. I know how it is to work hard. I mean, I'm still 13, but I'm doing the job that is meant for adults, and I'm going out there between adults, find my sport, try my best. So luckily, I had power always being on my side and helped me to manage those situations. So I was able, even though I was just 13, I was strong enough to be able to handle certain work as such as my sand quarry. And I had that frustration. I'm like, okay, at this point, because I was just rejected by other kids, wasn't a good profile to be a friend. Kids like to have a cool friend, a friend that brings that cool new stuff, who sometimes will be will impress them with something, or sometimes we just have a good lunch, But I was the one always starving, never had something to eat at school. So why do some kids want to share his food with you, knowing that you can have something to share with them someday? And then I was I retreated myself, being myself always lonely and thinking, and that's how by the age of 13, I get to I combine that my love with everything involved power, my reputation, my need of having a good reputation, and not get involved in like fighting, street fighting, and the fact that I want to prove them something. I wanted to prove something to those kids. But at that point of time, it wasn't not just to become normal anymore, because becoming normal wouldn't be seen by those kids at the time. So in order of that, I had to do something spectacular. I have to do something that's gonna put me in the scene, the first step. So I combined all those dreams, and then suddenly, with my love of like combat sport, the best thing that I find that can be like my job, my everything was boxing. But still, even though I love boxing than anything else on earth, there wasn't a gym around in 50 miles. And I never been in the gym in my life. I never stepped in the gym. I never see a gym in with my eye. So I had this dream how to do it. I carried this dream from 13 until I was 22, and 22 was the moment that I'm like, okay, I'm running out of time. This is getting out of control. I need to take action. I dreamed for long time, for so long. It's time to take action to pursue this dream. Obviously, as they always say, as they said, it might not become true because it's hard, because nobody has done it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe I'm losing it. I'm going crazy, as they're saying. Yeah, maybe that's true. But guess what? I had something that I know that I really wanted. So what does really matter in life? I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it a shot. Maybe it won't work. I mean,
and maybe you end up being the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
That was the goal. But listen, from where I was to like truly believe, that was really hard to believe. But I take it like step by step. I'm like, okay, I'm giving myself a shot. I'm going out there trying this, and then give my best. It might not work, but guess what? I'm gonna give all. I'm gonna look at myself a few years from now. I tell myself, okay, I failed, but I tried my best. So that's the matter the most, and that's how it started. And people was like, even my family, they're like, you're losing it. What the hell is that? Find yourself a job, trying to build your own little family. I'm like, yes, I might do that, but in which end? Like, I'm gonna have a family, have a kid. They're gonna end up in the same situation that I have been through, and maybe they won't be as lucky as I was to have like a spiritual angel guidance who guide me and keep me away from all the bad things and always help me to think straight. So if I don't have that, if they don't have that, how they're gonna end up, So I want to at least try my best to give them, to be able to offer them something different than what I had, because I know how hard it is. I know how different, unfortunate ways this can go. So I want to do my best in order to like eventually have my family out of this situation. Let's do it. Let's give it a shot. Few years is not bad. Anyway, I don't have much to lose. Yeah, at this point, and that's where when I started boxing. But yeah, then very quick I realized that they were wrong. He gets very tough. I couldn't afford a sneaker to train and anything, and I was supposed to. I had to support my the charge of everything by myself. He gets very tough. On top of that, I got sick, which make it even worse. So I abandoned boxing, but not the dream though. Until like 4 years later, because I understood that being in Cameroon, I won't go any far than my nose. So.
Hey, but now, hey, listen, now you are, because you had these big aspirations, big dreams, there's other, hopefully, young women and men from wherever you're from that are thinking to themselves, you know what, I saw Francis do it. I saw him go do it. It's like your big aspirations that everybody probably called you crazy for is now going to be something that everybody else is going to try to hopefully duplicate. They want to get it out there and do it. So congrats on that, Francis.
Thank you very much.
Hey,
and listen, I think this is the best part about it, and I always love it. This is like my personal reward, something that nobody can take it from you. You know, like when I go home, I see those kids today. They believe in something. They believe that it can happen, which is something that 20 years ago nobody would have believed. I remember even when I talk about boxing. Even when I started, even my mom, everybody thought I was losing my mind. And even my mom said, listen, son, I support you. I'll always be on your side, even when you're losing it, as right now. I'm always on your side. I'm like, thank you, Mom.
Well, I mean, if you're kicking down banana trees, I feel like you probably had a pretty good idea that you were going to be okay at this thing. We're happy you obviously. Thank you for telling us that, by the way. That was an incredible story of maybe one of the most interesting stories I've ever heard in my entire life from your book. Hey, your book. Yeah. The book we cannot wait for. But quick question here before the boys have one as well. I saw you tweeted out something about like you don't care who's next, like, and then you signed yourself sincerely the king, whoever. Jones, obviously the Beast, Lewis, Stipe. There's a lot of conversation right now about who you're going to fight next. For you as the champion, this is I assume something you're just expecting. Like, hey, everybody's going to want a shot at the champ at some point, or are you leaning one particular way? Is there any thoughts that you have about this thing? And have you and Dana had any conversations about potentially who's next?
No, we haven't had any talk. Me and Dana, we haven't been in contact at all. But what I mean by whoever is like, I won't stay here and like expect for something or hold on to something while there's so much opportunity around. Obviously, in my opinion, I still want that big fight. I still want the fight with John Jones, which will be a big challenge. After just getting a win over the greatest heavyweight of all the time, I think it would be great to have a win over the greatest mixed martial art of all the time, as a man and in a man of John Jones. I think this will be a very big fight for the not only for the MMA community, and we can.
Everybody
all day long explain for who this will be a big fight, but for myself, this will be a very big fight for my resume, for my personal accomplishment. It will be a big fight. Obviously, that's the fight that I would like to have. But we all have been seeing how this thing is going all over. The USA tweeted this, John Jones tweeted this. We don't know what exactly is the deal. Or what is going wrong. But what I do know is like, I don't want to sit here and then get myself in such a frustration like that. I just want to enjoy my moment. I just want to take a time, enjoy my life, and just being a fighter and be able to deliver as much fight as possible in order to have more experience and to keep my fan to give action to my fan and to stay active. Since the past 2 years, I fought 2 times in almost 2 years, which is very, very low. And that was very unexpected thing in my prime, wasting of time like that. And I want to catch up to that. So my goal is to fight sometime like maybe 2 more times this year.
Okay.
So for that, and that's what truly matters for me. Let's put it the priority. John Jones, obviously. But if not, we move on. Derrick Lewis is right there, and I think it's going to be a good fight for me. a good fight for us and for the Francis is the fight that we own them. We never give them that fight. I think it's the time to pay back.
Okay, well, I want to let you know, I can't thank you enough for joining us, Monsieur Ngannou champ. Merci beaucoup pour el parler for your time.
Yeah.
Ah, de rien, je vous en prie.
I ain't got it.
Hey, you kill it, man. You kill it.
Hey, good luck. We appreciate you so much for your time, man. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the UFC heavyweight champion of the world, enjoying his moment, the Predator, Francis Ngannou.
Thank you, guys.
That was awesome.
What a legend.
Holy shit.
Hey, listen, I did not expect that. I had no idea. But, man, we just got a chance to learn about when he was 13, those bullies, dude.
Man.
Hey, those bullies. I wonder if he goes back and is just like to the kids or the boys, you know, if he's ever just like,
Sup?
oh, what do you got going on?
You remember me?
You ready?
You remember?
Hey, what are you eating for lunch today?
This fist?
I'm having caviar.
Hey, by the way, everybody in his circle telling him he's losing his mind, by the way, thinking like that. I think that happens to a lot of people that are trailblazers and people that really change the game. So I'm incredibly pumped that he told his story to us there.